everyone. So this is a video on top of a video. Earlier on, I did the earlier video when I saw Atiku had picked Amaechi, but it was still rumored. But it's now official. It's out there. I'm actually in the car. That's why you hear all of this noise. It's now official. It's now out there. Atiku has picked Amaechi as the running mate. This is going to be interesting. So I thought that Amaechi was talking. Why was he saying that? If you know this, and there are a lot of people who actually all kept saying that he was never really serious about running for presidency, that it was actually the running mate he was angling for. But that's such an expensive, venture to undertake for you to get the running mate. But anyway, Sha, it's on. Thank you so much. Bye. Watch the main video that I had done earlier. Hello, everyone. The Atiku Abubakar, has he picked what's his name now, Mr. Rotimi Amaechi as his running mate for the 2027? Because I've seen a lot of people talking about it and all of that, and here we have the Tribune, Nigerian Tribune, is also reporting it. It says the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress (ADC), former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, has selected former Minister of Transportation Mr. Rotimi Amaechi as his running mate for the 2027 election. Sources close to the party indicate that Atiku made this decision after considering candidates from both the southeast and southwest regions. It appears that the choice of a candidate from the south-south was made after recognizing Amaechi's extensive network as a former governor of Rivers State and a former minister in the administration of the late President Muhammadu Buhari. This network is believed to be beneficial to the ticket. Let me just pause here and say a little bit. Now for me, I'm really waiting for us to see the official this thing, because at the end of the day, where everything is unlocked, then you now know, okay, this is what you are working against. It's really an interesting choice here, because I thought Amaechi said he's not going to, sort of like he's not going to be vice running mate to anyone. He wasn't running for running mate. He was running to be president and all of that. Beyond that, also, is a lot of this thing. We'll look for clips of videos, of the things that Amaechi had said about Atiku Abubakar. And then now you're coming here. So how are you going to reconcile them? Someone that you told us that he's not working very well, he's not going to be this, he's not competent, he doesn't have this, he doesn't have that. And then now you're running together you're now selling him to us as what? Are we going to believe the new things you're saying about him now? Or are we going to believe the old things that you said about him? But like I said, it's gonna be a very, very interesting one, and I look forward to it. That though they have not confirmed, but this is the report that is going out there. Party insiders noted that after analyzing the situation, it became evident that choosing a candidate from the southeast would not provide any advantage, especially since Mr. Peter Obi is already running under another party's banner. I think for me, that's on that part, that's a wise one. From the southeast, really, there's nothing. I don't think there's going to get anything. Even the south, to an extent, it's gonna be difficult. But hey, let's see what it is out there. Of course, Amaechi is also a candidate out there that is strong, has this thing. But is it more his advantage? Is it more in Rivers State? And even at this moment, it doesn't even own the Rivers State structure a lot, because someone else has held sway in the last 12 years, and which is Wike within that Rivers State. So we're going to see what's going to happen. So I don't think Amaechi does not have the influence in places like the Edo, Delta, and co. And so we would see how this plays. I bet definitely picking someone from the southeast would definitely have not given any advantage in any way whatsoever. And of course, some of the stories that people have out there also is that a lot of the people were not willing to be running mate. Quite a number, according to reports. I don't know how true these reports are, but what is out there in social media is the fact that they had been approaching a lot of people who actually had been turning this thing down. The initial plan, according to the Nigerian Tribune, was to select a governor from the southwest, but it was concluded that constituents from this region would be reluctant to exchange the presidency for the vice presidency. Consequently, the focus shifted to the south-south, where former Governor Amaechi's connection could significantly enhance the ticket appeal. So before I say what is on my mind, let me first of all say the south-south also, there were also reports of Seyi Makinde being a choice and all of that. But of course, also, having Tinubu coming from the southwest, it might not really be, like they rightly pointed out, it might not be advantageous for them to pick a running mate from the Southwest. And if you then looked at it, the thing that I said that was on my mind is the fact that the way this write-up is, the way this Nigerian Tribune is reporting it, it's almost as if Amaechi was the last choice because there's nobody. They now offered it to Amaechi. By the time Amaechi will look at it that way, is he going to say that you were the sort of like, when they are picking things and nobody is coming in and then they now remember you? Is that what is on ground? But it's going to be a quite interesting one. I would like to see the dynamics that they will show up. Will there be sort of like a bromance kind of dynamics, or will it be cat and mouse kind of dynamics that are going to be out there? Furthermore, ADC leaders are committed to ensuring inclusivity among party members during the election process. According to the source, the leaders have resolved to avoid the mistakes of 2023, where some leaders felt sidelined, creating division within the then opposition People's Democratic Party. In actual fact, yes, and for me, I said it before, I'm going to say it again, Atiku Abubakar actually contributed to that whole division. And sometimes, as much as Wike, I mean, you guys all know there's no love lost between myself and Wike, and as much as you say, but the truth has to be said, Wike was disrespected in the way the whole of that 2023, election had gone. And I feel, for me personally, Atiku did not manage that whole situation well at all. First of all, Wike had run, for presidency. You might say that, okay, yes, the kind of person that Wike is, maybe they didn't want to give him a vice running mate. He can come and do and turn things and whatever. Having said that, but there's a way that you can manage someone. That's the essence of leadership. Leadership is about your people, your capacity to manage people, and and be able to get them still believing in the vision that you have. That's the simple thing about leadership. The other ones of competence, you get people who will fill up those gaps and bring that competence in. When Wike ran for that, they did that primaries, and he lost in the manner that he lost. He lost in the manner that was very hurtful, right? He was sort of like literally betrayed by someone that he had fought for prior to this in 2018, and that's Aminu Tambua, when he stepped down for Atiku. So when all of that happened, so you knew that, of course, Wike was feeling it. He's still feeling the pain anyway. The next thing that now happened was that they now had a committee, that said, okay, that to choose who was going to be the running mate. And Wike's name was top. Wike had more people that voted for him to be running mate than the other. And then Atiku then went ahead not to take him. So the thing is that for me is that if Atiku knew there is someone that can come out of the committee that he will not take, if it's his name that is put out, why then did he put out that committee? If I was in the shoes of Atiku Abubakar, the moment that whole election finished, I'm going straight to Wike and I'm sitting down with him. I'll say, my brother or my whatever, if he's old enough to be his son, you see this thing, I really need your help. This whole, I need a running mate. You are the one that I would have chosen for be a running mate. But there's a bigger position I want you to play in my government than just for you to be a running mate. Because, the running mate, this is limit. You play it in a way that makes you look at it. I want something bigger that for you to have more control, because you're too active to just be a vice president waiting for ABCD. You just farms him in that way. And then you say to him, I want you to help me get a running mate. You be the one to this thing. And in the way that you do that also, there's a way you can direct someone that you already have choices you want to make. But I want to say, okay, this, I'm thinking of this, but I just don't know. I think you'll be in a better position to get this. So you've already put in his mind the kind of people that you're looking for. And by the time he comes, he wouldn't fit sideline. He'll be feeling that, oh, yes, I'm the one that gave him the running mate. I'm the one that did it. So you manage it. But no, they all went around, and Wike, that one kukuma, it is the running mate, that dozen of primaries now. If they see pen for body up till now and whatever. But anyway, it was also, according to Nigerian Tribune, it was also reported that Atiku planned to unveil Amaechi immediately, but delayed due to brief trip abroad. A source highlighted Amaechi's noteworthy attributes. I can assure you that once the presidential candidate returns, Amaechi will be presented to the president. But anyway, let us wait and see whether this is true or it's not true, or it's still permutation. Share in no time, all of us will see. Thank you so much for watching.